Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekly morning show. We bring you the latest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, technical, on-chain, and fundamental analysis every single weekday morning at 10:05 a.m. We really do appreciate you staying tuned. Ran a couple minutes late today. That's not going to be the normal, but thank you so much for tuning in. I do apologize for not being here yesterday. We were running into a bit of a dilemma. We had to sort a few things out. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it right now, but everything's in progress. We're in a good place now, and we're really excited to bring you some news because, as you guys know, over the weekend, Bitcoin went through a major rally, moving all the way up to about $23,000 and change. And well, yeah. Echo? They're saying echo. People saying there's echo? Let's see if there's echo. Echo. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see if there's an issue with the mic here. Check. Sorry, just blew up everybody's ears. I don't see any reason that there'd be an echo. I'm not quite sure why there would be echo. Anyway, let's see in chat. Audio echo. Oh, gosh. Stop audio. Check. Sorry, guys. Not sure what's going on with the audio. Let me try something. Give me 1 second. Check. I see what it is. Check. All right, tell me if the echo's gone now. I believe I know what was going on. I believe that camera was actually capturing audio and sending it through also. You guys go ahead and tell me if that echo is gone now. I think that would have fixed it. Really apologize for that, guys. Had to switch out a cam link today because it was broken. That's why we were late. These little guys right here, I think this one just went bad. That's why we were running late, because these things are these are the little video capture device. For anybody who cares about the behind the scenes, you can see that's called a cam link. I love these things by Elgato. They're amazing. Elgato, I love your products. I'd love a sponsor if you ever have one. I don't know. I like Elgato. Anyway. I've had this thing for like 4 years, and I think it went bad today. That's why the stream was late, because I was trying to fix this. I actually have another one, so I switched it, and it looks like it decided to go ahead and start capturing audio as well as video. So that's why we were running a little bit late, and that's probably why the audio was messed up. Anyway, we got a show to get into, so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, first thing I want to talk to you about is over on CoinMarketCap. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin is currently trading at $22,900. And by the way, we will go 5 minutes over today just to make sure we go for the full hour. Bitcoin is trading at $22,900 and change today, down 0.19% over the last 24 hours, still up 7.86% over the last 7 days, and up 37.66% year to date. We got Ethereum down 1%, but still up 34% year to date. And as you can see, Bitcoin and crypto over the weekend managed to surpass confidently $1 trillion. It's currently sitting at $1,050 billion. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, the market capitalization, crypto, it's going to be total one, I believe, is the chart. If we look at total one over here in crypto, maybe it won't show up. Total. Here we go. It's just total. That's right. We look at total. You can see over here on the total chart for TradingView, which is where many people do their charting, crypto is still right below $1 trillion. So you need to keep in mind that depending on what chart you're looking at, we're either at or above $1 trillion. If we just go ahead and move this to the coordinates of exactly $1 trillion, $1 trillion, I believe, is what I'd have to do here. 1T? I'm not exactly sure how to do that because it has to be so high. Anyway, let's just go ahead and put this line as close as we can. I'd have to type out all the way through $1 trillion. Nevertheless, this right there, that's 1 trillion. You can see Bitcoin is currently flirting with that level, and it is trying to get above it. However, Of course, that is a major level of resistance, $1 trillion being just about the definition of a big even. But, and this is the good news, this is what I'm talking about in the title, when I talk about there could be a breakout soon. Right now, all of cryptocurrency's market capitalization is sitting right at $1 trillion, and it's in a rising wedge. Not only that, though, Bitcoin is also in a rising wedge, in an ascending triangle pattern. I said rising wedge. I'm in an ascending triangle pattern on both of those. Both of these markets are in ascending triangle patterns that are in the midst of an uptrend. So that essentially makes them what we know as bull flags, indicating that a major break could be coming soon. We're going to dive into more of that a little bit later, and we're also going to talk about this article right here. I wanted to show you this article. This is a really, really, really important article over here on MSN. I don't remember the last time that I read an article on MSN, but this is a big deal and a complete 180 that we have seen for quite some time. So let's go ahead and go back to full screen and read some chat. Can't see the charts. Yeah, how about that? Look, is my thing broke? Is that broken too? Wow, man, they're just coming with everything's coming against me right now. Looks like my okay, well that's odd. Really, I don't know why that's happening. I'm gonna have to go back in here and fix my hotkeys. My hotkeys broke on me too. I don't understand why this is happening. All right. Well, give me 1 second. I'm going to have to go in here and fix my hotkeys, and we will go ahead and fix that in my scenes. I know how to do it really quickly. We just need to go to video capture device. Give me 1 second, and I'll run back through everything that I was talking about here. I need to put that there. I need to put that there. Believe that'll do it. You're going to see Streamlabs for a second. Boom, fixed it. All right. Really, the enemy of this channel, whatever it is definitely trying to take us down today, but we're going to keep on going. All right. I will run back through that for anybody who couldn't see that. Tell me in chat if we were able to see now. Basically, what I was saying is Bitcoin is in a symmetrical triangle pattern right now. And the total market capitalization charts are flirting with $1 trillion, as you can see right here. And both of these markets are trying to break above critical resistance. The total market capitalization charts on TradingView, as calculated by TradingView, is trying to breach $1 trillion. It's currently sitting at $998 billion. It did briefly breach $1 trillion, going to $1,012 billion. But we really want to see a much more sustained break above that line. Over on Bitcoin, however, Bitcoin is currently attempting to break above, and we'll just go to a cleaner chart here. Bitcoin is currently attempting to break above $23,000, which is a pretty major level of resistance for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is 15% higher than $20,000. There's something about that 10 to 15% region where if you're able to break it and hold above that, then you're basically confirming, okay, we're out of the woods away from that level. So what do I mean by that? Well, we're 15% above $20,000 right now. That's 23K. We're almost still in the catchment area of $20,000. We would have to drop 13% to get back to 20K. That's a very reasonable possibility for a drop. We want to see Bitcoin maintaining $20,000 as a low. So right now, essentially what's going on, Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency markets are trying to break far enough away from the major resistance that they just broke so that they can confirm that that resistance is broken and not go below it again, establishing a strong baseline. Bringing up VPVR here, or VRVP. We can see the VRVP maxima is sitting at $19,200, and there's another blip right here at 20K. What is very possible is Bitcoin attempts to break 23,000 based on this pattern that we're going to analyze in more detail later, but then attempts to have a retracement back down to $20,000. Well, what you just did by doing that is you set up a rising wedge, which would basically plot our next movement, and we could see that moving us up to maybe $28,000 to $30,000. And on top of that, you've established a cup and handle formation, a very bullish cup and handle formation, because the right side of the cup and handle formation is higher than the left side. You move down, establish the cup, and then you would basically use that cup and handle formation with an extrapolation like this up to, again, $28,000. So if Bitcoin does end up having a small break to the upside and then dropping down to 20K, I could very easily see justification based on our preliminary analysis, but also on some more analysis we'll do later for a rally all the way to $28,000 should the rest of the market conditions allow. And that is something that we're going to want to keep an eye on, is that. All right, doing the stream a little out of order today, but let's go ahead and read green names. Really appreciate all of you guys for bearing with the technical difficulties. Luckily, I've been doing this for a long time now, and I know how to run this stream and the setup, so I can fix it pretty quickly if I'm able to identify it. You guys have seen me have to fix, I think, 2 problems on air. So we'll just go ahead and pray that that doesn't happen again. Father God, help us to have a technically sound stream for the rest of the day and for all days to come. All right, Sean O'Brien was first saying hi, or he said, hey, hi, hello, how are you? Got Crypto Nebs in chat also. Daniel J. We got CBD Suddy said, good morning, everybody. All love here, Jebb. CBD Suddy said, we got Win Peoples in chat said, good morning. All got everybody blowing up chat, letting me know about the audio. Sean Galt said, quadraphonic. There you go, quadraphonic. What's good, Echo Jebb? That's funny. Delta Echo Charlie. All right, we got Win Peoples in chat again. We got FinSolve. Mike Lowry saying, good morning, everybody. Hashtag FinSolve. If you don't remember, FinSolve is this idea of financial sovereignty. Financial sovereignty is your ability to have total and complete control over your own finances rather than the other way around, because I want you to live a free life where you are not beholden to your finances. That's no way to live. Grand Roofing Incorporated said, hey, good morning, everybody. Hello. Crypto Mini Bike in chat as well. Win Peoples and CBD Suddy were so kind as to tell me there was an echo. Thank you, guys, for that. Is there a speaker on in the room? I'm gonna have to watch that back and see what that sounded like, because that was probably ear piercing. I'm really sorry for that. Had no idea that was happening. I couldn't know that was happening because this monitors this microphone. I'm like, everything sounds fine on my end, but anyway, you guys said it's fixed now. Editing apps open? Nope. Mike Lowry said all good. Grand Roofing Incorporated said, there you go, it's gone. Justin Eubanks in chat. Matt C's in chat saying good morning to everybody. Thank you to our moderators who keep the chat clean. We like to have a civil discourse in chat. Was there no show yesterday? There was no show yesterday. There was we had to deal with a few things family matter wise, but we are back now and ready to jump into it. It's so funny. In the chat, you guys said echo, 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 and then it's fixed. And then you said, can't see your screen, can't see your screen, can't see your screen. Tor said technical issues Tuesday. That's the day right there. Technical Tuesday. I came and left, back again. Sorry, Jebb. Hi, Queen. We got Justin Eubanks. Am I missing any green names? Am I missing any green names? I don't believe so. I said Mike Lowry, shout out to you. All right, guys, go ahead and smash the like button. I have OMAC's in chat said good morning. Hello. Go ahead and hit the like button if you guys haven't already. Really appreciate all of you for tuning in. All right, let's go ahead and start back up on the charts where we were. So the first thing I want to dive into is the shorter term time frames on Bitcoin and talk about the rally to date thus far, because of course Bitcoin has been rallying quite substantially, and I'd like to review with you why that's happened and what of those factors are still in play, because some of the things that led to this rally are no longer in play because they played themselves out. Some of those factors are still very much in play, and we have a few of them that are coming up just a week from today. So, review. Let's rewind back to the very beginning. Friday, December 30th, 2022. This is last year. Strange to say, it was only 4 weeks ago, but this is last year. We were trading at $16,353 and change. We were on a local low. From there to top, we have rallied 42.69% in the span of 22 days and 5 hours, and we are currently plateauing up here around 23,000. But it looks like a very healthy plateau, especially if you extrapolate this trend line and notice that we're above even it. So I'm not really too concerned about the plateau. In fact, I think this is a very healthy thing. We had a short correction followed by a plateau, and that is a wonderful thing. We even moved up here very, very soundly. This is starting to remind me of another point in the market that we will review today. A lot to jump into in the charts, obviously, today. First leg up, you could argue that it started in a few different places. We're going to call it Wednesday, the 11th of January, 2023 at $17,300. We rallied to $4,000 in 2 days, 4 hours, up 24%. This was one of the largest rallies that Bitcoin had seen in a very long time. Many months have passed since we've seen a rally of this caliber. Then Bitcoin traded sideways in a rising in an ascending triangle pattern. We ended up breaking bearish out of that, which was a concern that we had, just because Bitcoin was, well, there were just a few different factors going on at this point. We fell down out of this chart, chart pattern, down to around $20,300. Then we bounced and rallied all the way up to $23,450. So Bitcoin has gone through 2 legs at this point. You could argue that this would be the first leg right here, then this would be the second leg right here, and then you could argue that both of these are the corrections. Couple things to note about this. Number one, the first leg was larger, the second leg is smaller. That does indicate that the bulls might be getting a little bit closer to running out of steam. I don't think they're out of steam yet. I think the bulls have a very strong chance to continue to run. But there is a chance that the bulls are running out of steam a little bit because of what we've seen having to do with the fact that the second leg of this rally was smaller than the first. I would argue rather that this is not due to the bulls being weaker. However, this would be due to the bulls not having as large of a correction. If you are running a marathon, maybe that's not the best analogy because I think people normally run a marathon straight through, but if you're doing some kind of massive, high-intensity, like a HIIT exercise or something, then you have to take a break every once in a while to catch your breath. Well, this little bottom right here for anybody who works out, this is the equivalent of doing a heavy set on bench, and then you took a 15-second break between them. So obviously your next set is not going to be as strong because you didn't let yourself recover as much. This is the equivalent of, playing the entire first half of a football game and then just skipping halftime and going straight through it, and then you don't have any time to sit down, rest, recover, collect your thoughts, drink some water, eat a snack, whatever you need to do, and then the next half, if you call this the first half, would not be quite as high performing because you didn't have that time to catch your breath. The Bulls did not have a chance to catch their breath, but part of the reason the Bulls didn't have a chance to catch their breath is because they're running so hard. So you could argue that the Bulls are losing a little bit of strength here because this second leg was smaller than the first. I would argue that it's not so much the Bulls are losing strength, it's that the Bulls are so incredibly powerful that they're burning themselves out a little bit. And that's why we need to have a small correction. It would be healthy for Bitcoin to have a correction down to $21,000. It would be healthy, even in my opinion, for Bitcoin to correct down to $20,000. We would like to not establish a head and shoulders pattern because that would give ammunition to the bearish camp. But for Bitcoin to have a small correction here is not a bad thing. However, what we may end up seeing happen is that Bitcoin goes through a rally right now, or relatively soon, because we do have an ascending triangle, a symmetrical triangle pattern with a bullish price target up at about $25,000. It is possible that Bitcoin rallies here, maybe 60 to 70% of that price target up to about 24.5, and then corrects down to 22 or something like this, and then continues its rally to the upside. A couple of things to note here, and going back to the point I was making before. The first thing is Bitcoin and crypto here have not really gone through corrections. And I kind of mentioned this, but I want to make a point of it. They've traded sideways. And that's a big difference from rallying and then V-topping and dropping, 50, or retracing 50, 60, 70%, or even 20 or 30%. We went through a major rally here, and then we corrected all of 4%. Big whoop. That's not a big deal. This was just the bulls taking profit. This movement right here was not the bears slamming the door shut on the bulls. This was the bulls saying, oh, wow, I just made 25% with no leverage. Oh, wow, I just made 100% with 4x leverage. Oh, wow, I just made 200% with 8x leverage. I'm going to go ahead, cash out, reposition myself, wait a week. As you can see, we traded sideways here. And then if we're still up here, I'm going to go back into that long position. I'm going to take the next elevator ride to the upside. And that's what the bulls did here. I don't see a lot to argue that the bears are in charge. I think there's absolutely no case right now that the bears are in charge. And I also think that the bulls are very much in charge right now. I think the bulls are very powerful right now, and the small corrections that we've had have been the bulls cashing out. I think many people became bulls when we saw the 0.6% drop on CPI data, where we dropped from 7.1 to 6.5%. I think we've seen a major shift in the sentiment of the market as the FTX trial continues to fade into the history books, as far as it's not over yet, but people are starting to forget about it. People are starting to move on. Much of the FUD is quelled, and also, if you'll remember, just last week, we saw Genesis, which is a subsidiary of DCG, Digital Currency Group, and we will talk about that here in a little while. They filed for bankruptcy, and the market turned around and went into a massive rally just a couple of days later. So the bulls are very emboldened right now because they're shirking off the sins of the past in the form of FTX. They're shirking off BlockFi going bankrupt, which that never had a major impact on the market anyway. And they're seeing, look, Genesis went bankrupt and it didn't affect us. In fact, it looks like justice may be had for those 340,000 users over at Gemini Earn. And there's now an open lawsuit against Barry Silbert and DCG. We will talk about that here in a little while. The fact of the matter is, Bitcoin right now is in very good position just looking at the price. But let's look at some technicals and see where it stands on that front as well, because obviously there's always more than just price. That's where our technical indicators come in. First thing I want to look at here is my favorite technical indicator. This would be Lux Algo. If you guys don't know Lux Algo, like I said, is one of my favorite technical indicators. I use it every single day that I'm looking at the charts, and it helps me to understand what the trend is. It helps me to understand the general direction of the market so that I am able to step back and say, okay, is the market moving up? Is the market moving down? How powerful is the movement in one direction or the other? Where are the levels of support? How many different confirmations are there that the market is moving where I think it is? Lux Algo helps in a wonderful way to do that. So first thing to do, let's start on the daily chart and recap. We've already talked about this, but I want to give you a bit of an update. Lux Algo here shows us very plain and clearly what's going on the daily chart, and it's ridiculously bullish. Like, it is insanely bullish. More bullish than we've seen in and I kid you not, 2 years, and I'll show you what I mean. Right now, I know I'm excluding this market. It is even more bullish than we were back over here. I'll tell you why. Lux Algo is made up of many constituent parts. Many of the ones that I like to look at on the daily basis are these. We have our buy and sell signals, as we can see right here. We have our EQ cloud here in the center. We have our bullish and our upper and our lower reversal zones. And then we have trend catcher right here. That's the basis of what I look at with Lux Algo, but there's a lot more. And we'll probably even look at Lux Algo price action concepts as well, because there's quite a lot to talk about here as well. And definitely be excited to show you what's going on over here. But let's start with the base indicator, because this is the one you guys are most familiar with and the one that I use the most. So the reason that this chart looks so bullish, and you can pause the stream if you want and analyze this yourself for a little bit of practice to see if you can spot why this is such a bullish chart. And there are many reasons. Let's start. First things first, we have a confirmed buy signal. We have a buy signal that came in back here on the 13th of December. It never reconverted back into a sell signal, even though the market dropped. Instead, we remained bullish. We were purple, meaning we were weak in a weak buy signal. We turned green, which means we are now in a strong buy signal. See how this is a strong sell signal? This, because of this candlestick coloring, as you can see right here, it's not purple, it's green. That indicates we are under strong buy signal pressure, which is wonderful. From there, Bitcoin managed to rally up and through the EQ cloud. That's a big deal. We rallied straight through the EQ cloud. We had failed to rally through the EQ cloud without quickly thereafter having a major rejection or getting caught in the EQ cloud every time we've tried these last 4 times to break through the cloud. In this case, we broke straight through the cloud like it was a hot knife through butter. We went straight through it. Then we rallied straight up to the trend catcher, which was sitting at $18,100. That was red. We broke straight through that, completely smashed that resistance. Then something happened the next 2 days. On Friday the 13th, January 2023, something very good happened. Normally something bad happens on Friday the 13th is what the legend goes. But something good happened this day. 2 things happened on Friday the 13th. 3 things, actually. We saw a blue X indicating that that's an exit. That wasn't a buy signal, but that's to say if you're a bull, now is not a bad time to start taking profits on that long that you entered because of this buy signal and this confirmation. Would have been a good X to take profit at. You would have taken it a little bit early, but still not bad timing. The other 2 things on Friday the 13th. Number 1, we saw, well, actually number 2, because the exit was number 1. Number 2, we broke up into the reversal zone. We have not seen Bitcoin in the bullish reversal zone. And track with me here. I'll just go ahead and show you only the reversal zone. So that's all you can see, just to make it a little bit easier for you. I'll leave the signals on, because why not? We have not even touched the upper reversal zone as we did on that fateful Friday the 13th. As you can see, didn't touch it here, didn't touch it here. We have not even touched the upper reversal zone since we fell out of it Thursday the 21st of October 2021. That is 13 months ago. Okay? That's 15 months ago, actually. It's been over a year since we've even touched the upper band of the reversal zone. That's a huge deal. All right, let's bring the rest of this back because there's still much more to dive into. So I said there were 3 things on Friday the 13th. I apologize, there were actually 4. The third thing is that we broke above $21,000. Ever so briefly, but I do believe, and I could be wrong, maybe we just touched it, but I think ever so briefly we did break above $21,000. As you can see, this is Friday the 13th right here. It's hard to tell. Let's go down to the hourly chart and see what we can see. If we didn't break above it, we at least touched it, and the next day we broke above it. You can see right here, Friday, January the 13th, at 1900 hours Eastern Standard Time, Bitcoin breaks all the way up here to $21,397. That is very, very, very important. $20,000, as you can see, was a level of resistance that the market toyed with for a couple of hours. It smashed it. This candlestick right here, and you can show this to your friends, this candlestick right here where Bitcoin broke above $20,000 at 1900 hours, Friday the 13th, January 2023, this was the moment that we potentially entered a bull market. Okay? Maybe not. But this is the moment that it all started. Whatever's going on right now, whatever it may be, whether it's a bull market or just a major rally or the beginning of a huge rally that doesn't bring us back to all-time high, whatever it is, it began at 1900 hours, Friday, January the 13th. That was 11 days ago. And the 4th thing that took place that day, which was even more bullish, trend catcher turned green. This is probably the most important. Trend catcher turned green with this candlestick. In fact, with the next candlestick that opened, but it looks like it happened on Friday the 13th, which confirmed that buy signal. This is the first confirmed buy signal that we have seen on the daily chart since here, when we got a confirmation the 27th of February 2022. And for multiple reasons, we would have not necessarily ruled out that buy signal, but we would have been able to say, okay, that buy signal is not the most strong. We saw that there was just this big short liquidation, I believe is what happened back then. We were doing streams back here, of course. Then we fell right back through the EQ cloud, right back through the trend catcher. Traded sideways, had basically no momentum, couldn't even touch the reversal zone. Then we had a sell signal, then boom. By the way, at the same time, the largest conflict in the history of Europe in about 70 years had started 4 days prior when Russia invaded Ukraine. That was right here. So having a strong buy signal right there didn't mean a whole lot of nothing. Same thing with this buy signal. We couldn't even get through the EQ cloud. So this is the best buy signal that we've seen since this buy signal right here, October 4th, 2021, which would be 15 months ago, 15 months and 20 days ago. That is a long time since we've seen a confirmed buy signal of this caliber. But it gets better because this confirmed buy signal that we just saw is a stronger confirmed buy signal than what we saw here, and even than what we saw up here at the peaks of the bull market. This is a better buy signal than all of them. The last time we saw a buy signal this good, I would argue, was right here around October 9th, 2020. I'll show you why. Not only did Bitcoin break above the $20,000 region, it actually broke onto the opposite side of the reversal zone, as you can see right here. We broke through the reversal zone. Not only did we touch the reversal zone, the very next day, we broke through the reversal zone. Let's look back in history at the last time that happened. Didn't happen on this leg to the upside. No. Didn't happen at the all-time highs. The last time that we were above the reversal zone on daily chart was right here, January the 8th of 2021. And that movement started with this buy signal that came into play October 10th, 2020 and was confirmed Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. This is the last time we had a buy signal this strong. The signal came in October 10th, 2020. The confirmation came in Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. It's been 2 years since we've seen a buy signal this strong on daily chart. On top of that, and it does keep going, Bitcoin traded sideways and bounced off of the center band, you can see right here, of the reversal zone. As far as I can tell, and you might have to, do the kind of meme where the guy's like with the glasses, like the monocle, like I can't really tell, but it kind of looks like it. Essentially, what we have to do is we have to look very closely, and we can see that the market, if I can I'm literally squinting. I'm not even joking. I'm getting closer to the camera, to the screen. Did not even touch that middle band of the reversal zone. We bounced above it. And then what did we do? After we bounced, we broke above the reversal zone again. And this time, not only did we break above the reversal zone, we broke, just using about the center right here, we broke $1,000 above the top of the reversal zone for that day. It took us 4 days of sideways trading to get back into it. And where we are right now, we're sitting on the very top of the reversal zone. On top of all of that, EQ Cloud turned bullish and switched bullish here on Sunday, January the 15th of 2023, confirming once again that we are in the strongest uptrend that Bitcoin has seen in 2 years. Now, I've kind of broken down the daily chart on Lux Algo. Drop a 1 in chat if that was helpful. If you guys don't have Lux Algo already, you can see that you're missing out. Of course, I'm going to cover it from time to time here on the channel, but if you want to see it on a different time frame that I'm going to show, or if you want to see it on just about any other chart, because the main thing I focus on is Bitcoin and sometimes Ethereum, then you're going to want to get it for yourself. You can sign up for it with the link in the description box down below using the coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B. You'll get 20% off at checkout. That'll bring the price down to around $55 a month. If you're a trader, that is worth every single penny. Don't quote me on the $55 a month. It should be right around there. Again, coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. You can get a quarterly or an annual plan, and you will save even more money if you do that, because you will be compounding the buying in bulk part of the plan with the 20% coupon code, and you'll be getting it for, if you bought the annual plan, you'd be getting it for the equivalent of like 30, 35, 40 bucks a month, probably less than that. I don't want to do false advertising. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but you can go to the website and you can check it out for yourself with that coupon code and the annual you're going to get a lot off. Actually, hang on. Let me back up. I'm not totally sure the 20% off will work on the annual. It might only work on the monthly and quarterly. So you'll have to check, fiddle with it over there. I will confirm that to make sure. But either way, it is a wonderful technical indicator package. And I'll be honest, if there's one thing I could have a subscription for in cryptocurrency right now with what's available on the market, it'd be Lux Algo. And you can see why. All right, so Bitcoin, basically what we've just discovered is that Bitcoin is in the single strongest bull market, the single strongest, most powerfully confirmed uptrend that we have been in over 2 years. We're talking 26 months. And by the way, just for clarity, that uptrend that we are speaking of, which was confirmed here, October 20th, 2020, this saw a $53,000 rally, 472% rally over the next 175 days before we peaked out at all-time high at $65,000. I am not for a second saying that that's what's happening right now. I want to be very clear on that because I'm actually going to draw a comparison between this market and another one. But first, I want to read a little bit of chat because I think that we are in a very similar position to where we were April 1st of 2019. We're going to do a little bit of a history lesson and a walk through days gone by in crypto and see if that's where we are right now. Really excited for it. If you guys are enjoying today's stream, make sure to smash that like button. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in and bearing with me through some of the technical difficulties. We got 636 people in chat. Let's see if we can't get up to 250 likes. Really appreciate all of you guys. I do see that we have some chat revenue, so I need to go ahead and see where that super chat is. Looks like we have a just a super sticker. We got SimpleMan699 donated 11. Let's see, 11.99 euros. Is it 11 euros and then it's not pence? That's for pounds, right? What is the cent of what the equivalent of a euro cent? What is a cent in euro? 1 euro cent coin. It is just called a cent. What are cents called for the euro? I'm on like a euro cents. I was just called cents. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's just cents. 11 euros and 99 cents. There you go. Thank you so much for that donation. Said he was the #1 fan. That's wonderful. Thank you, guys. Right below that super chat, I see Brent Holt said, Jebb, I'd love to see you and Nick Merton at Data Dash look at charts and do a video together. You both are extremely intelligent and have a good pulse on the market. Well, thank you. I have been inspired by Data Dash and Nicholas Merton for over 5 years. He's actually one of the guys that inspired me to start a YouTube channel, and I've had the wonderful pleasure of speaking to him on a personal level over on Twitter DMs, and we actually had a collaboration planned. Kind of fell through. Not his fault. There was a lot going on our side of things. I do want to do that, and I know that he wants to, so I will try and arrange that. It probably won't be anytime soon just because there's a lot going on at the moment, but I would love to have a collaboration with Nicholas Merton. I have a lot of respect for him and what he's done for the cryptocurrency industry and the YouTube space at large. All right. Let's see what we have in chat. Going to read a little bit of chat. This feels like an actual bull trap. Everyone's starting to get euphoric, which is a perfect time for a hammer. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Let's see. Adam Rorick is in chat. Shout out to you. I don't know if you got a shout out. Data Dash has a pulse on the market. Yes, he does. I believe he does. Finding UFO said, thanks, Jebb. I enjoy your content. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Let me know if you find that UFO. I'd love to know what the deal is with that and the naval footage and everything. If you guys haven't seen that, there's some very peculiar footage that the Navy released many years ago where you can see something, you're like, that shouldn't be possible. I wonder what that is. I had no idea what it is. I'm not going to tell you what I think it is, but yeah. Anyway, Jebb, the question is, why is this happening now at this moment of the 2023? Great question, Dr. Godfather, I'm not sure. We'll go ahead and jump into that as the next part of our segment, and we will then look at the history of crypto and where I think we are. Why is this happening now? I almost started this explanation by saying very simply, but that might be a little condescending because it's not the simplest thing at all. There is much going on globally and geopolitically, and one of the things that we do at this channel that is different from a lot of other crypto channels, not to say we're better than them, but one thing that's different is that we look at the macro. I look at the geopolitics of the matter. I look at the global financial markets. I look at the stock market, I look at the housing market, I look at the Fed rate, I look at the CPI, I look at PPI, I look at many different numbers and variables and factors that go into the price of Bitcoin other than just crypto, because I think that if you're just looking at crypto to understand what's going on in crypto, that's a little bit like just looking at your farm and not paying attention to the weather report because you don't care what's going on in the weather because you're a farmer and you're not a meteorologist. That just does not make any sense. You need to be in collaboration with other people that are involved in your industry. If you're a farmer, you need to be talking to a meteorologist or at least watching the weather to see when it's going to rain. Is there going to be a drought? Is there going to be a cold front that'll cold snap and kill your plants? What's the climate going to be like? You need to be in collaboration nowadays with the way industrial farming works. You need to be in collaboration with genomists who are working on genetically modified crops because that's 95% of the foodstuffs that are sold. They're genetically modified. You need to, in a way, be in tune with what's going on geopolitically so that you can ensure that you're going to be able to source the 3 major types of fertilizer, which are in very short supply right now and are going to become a huge problem this year. We're talking about your potash, we're talking about your nitrogen. We're talking about all of the different fertilizers. Those are going into a big crunch. So if you're a farmer, you need to pay attention to the broader world because it impacts your industry. I think there's too much of just looking at crypto and not enough of looking at the rest of the world to see what's going on in crypto, because I think it is negligent for us to have our head in the sand and say, I don't care what's going on in Europe. I don't care what's going on with NATO. I don't care what's going on geopolitically because I'm a crypto analyst. I think we need to have a broader perspective. And so what's going on in 2023 is that the world is changing in the most fundamental way since 1945 after the bombs were dropped on Japan, and we saw victory in the Pacific Day. You had VE Day, the victory in Europe, and then you have the victory in the Pacific. I think some people call it VP Day. I'm not exactly sure what the name for that would be, but the point is, this is the single biggest transition in global affairs, geopolitics, that we have seen since the New World Order began in the post-World War II order, where the United States started patrolling the world's oceans and instituted globalization and globalism, rather than what we had seen throughout human history from then, which is the most powerful nation in the world builds a giant empire, and they don't trade with anybody else. They just take over everything so they can trade internally, and then they say, forget you, neighbors. If we need something from you, well, we'll just come and ransack you. The United States said, nope. Instead, what we're going to do, we're going to become the world policeman. We're going to allow global free trade, and we're going to be the guarantor of globalization, that it may hurt us a little bit, but the net water increase will rise all ships, including the United States' boat, and the United States used their Navy to bring about the most prosperous period in the history of human civilization, called the second half of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century. Russia brought that to an end, and so did the pandemic over the last 3 years. Here's why. The pandemic shattered supply chains. They are still in the process of being rebuilt, and they completely shook the world's confidence in globalization. There was already a major movement against globalism and globalization. The pandemic brought that to a screeching halt. You have seen so many people that were pro-globalization in the first world turn completely against it, because to them and to their vote, it doesn't help them at all. Again, you're wondering how this affects crypto. I'm going to tie it in. Don't worry. Then you saw Russia declare war on Ukraine. That causes a ton of different problems. Number one, it sends every single nation on planet Earth that has any kind of vested interest in that conflict, which is every nation on planet Earth, to increase military spending, to increase focus on the military, to increase focus on foreign affairs, and to, one, hopefully become more unified because there's a common enemy in Russia, but two, also spend a ton of money sending armament to Ukraine and also supporting them however they can. That completely changes the conversation when you have a nuclear state that is on the United Nations Security Council declare an open war of conquest. And at this point, we can pretty much say, the word starts with a G. I'm not going to repeat it on stream because I don't know if it'll take us down. It's been very clear what they're doing, what they're trying to do. They are trying to destroy the civilian infrastructure and take out as many civilians as possible. There are all kinds of war crimes being committed over there, and it is atrocious. And the prayer is that it would stop immediately, and those that are responsible would be brought to justice and be tried to the fullest extent of the law. But the fact is, Russia declared war on Ukraine, and that is the biggest shift in geopolitics we have seen since at least the fall of the Berlin Wall, at least since the Bay of Pigs, but probably since the New World Order was instituted by the United States and then reinforced by George Herbert Walker Bush in 1991 post-Desert Storm. This is the biggest unraveling of globalization that we have ever seen, because globalization didn't exist before this. This is the end of globalization 1.0, and the world has gotten so hooked and addicted to it that it will probably come back. But at this point, because of demographical problems, because of geopolitical problems, because of relational problems between major power players such as Russia, China, and the United States in the Eurozone, and because of supply chain disruptions, you are likely going to see a huge amount of inflation this decade. You are going to see many nations, especially nations other than the United States, have to figure out other ways to source their raw resources, because Russia is one of the largest exporters, or was, of natural gas, of oil, and of food. Those are some of the most important inputs to the entire global supply chain, and they are under heavy sanction right now. And they may even lose the ability to produce that oil for a reason that I'm not going to go into right now, but they could lose at least 20% of their capacity to even produce oil and spend 30 years trying to rebuild it. There's an unraveling of the global system right now. So, 2023, what's it going to look like? It's a very, very hectic year. This could be a bull market, but as I said in my video a few weeks ago, this bull is mean. This is going to be a hard bull market. It will be a bull market, I believe, but it's going to be a hard one because we're up against such headwinds. Now, why is Bitcoin moving right now in relation to all of these factors? Well, there's a lot of things going on that all come together in a bullish way for crypto. And I'll just run through the ones that are on the chart first, and then we'll talk about the geopolitical ones. Then we'll go back to the chart. Then we'll come back to the geopolitical, if that makes sense. All right, so to tee it up, first things first, I need to show you some of the things on the chart that are corroborating this rally on Bitcoin, or at least correlating with this rally on Bitcoin. First things first, we need to look at the S&P 500 and we need to look at the Dixie. These are two of the most important charts to define what Bitcoin is doing. This bottom chart right here represents the Dixie. That is the dollar currency index. The dollar currency index tracks the value of the United States dollar against a basket of other world reserve of other national currencies. We're talking about the euro, the pound, the yen, the renminbi. You're talking about the South Korean currency, I believe, is in there. You're looking at a basket of other world currencies, seeing how the dollar is performing. The dollar is actually losing strength against those other currencies and has been doing so ever since November the 10th. That was 2 days after FTX filed bankruptcy. We found out FTX was going bankrupt at 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time when Sam Bankman-Fried posted his now historical tweet that FTX was insolvent and that they were working with Binance to be bought out. That was on November the 8th, the election day for midterms of the United States. Since November the 10th, just 2 days after that, Dixie's been going down. That was something that actually was propping up Bitcoin's market. And frankly, because Dixie was going down, that's probably why we didn't go to $12,000, because Dixie going down is incredibly powerfully correlated inversely with Bitcoin. That's probably why we didn't start crashing. But then, on this day right here, January the 5th, this upper chart stopped going down also, and it reversed, and it started going bullish. That's the S&P 500. That is the most important stock index on planet Earth. On that day, we stopped seeing the downtrend, and we started seeing an uptrend, and you can see that very same day, just go ahead and draw a vertical line here, that very same day, we started this uptrend, and we've been uptrending with the S&P 500 ever since. Bitcoin, it's almost a fact. It is a law of the way these markets work that Bitcoin is very likely to correlate positively with the S&P 500, which means it's very likely to go in the same direction as the S&P 500. Why? Well, the S&P 500 is mostly made up of tech stocks. People look at crypto as a very risky tech stock. That's honestly the way they look at it. It's also negatively or inversely correlated with the Dixie, which means when the Dixie goes down, Bitcoin is rallying. Dixie started going down. S&P 500 started going up, both on the same day, January 5th. Moving forward to, what was it? January 8th, was it? Was it January 8th? Not January 8th. Was it January 11th? I think it was January 11th when we saw the CPI report come out. That was the date that we saw CPI drop from 7.1% to 6.5%. That was largely due to oil and gas coming down in price, although we talked about how we're probably not going to see much more of a decrease in the oil and gas prices following that, just simply because they've already bottomed out. I meant to say CPI. We're probably not going to see a massive drop in CPI because oil and gas was the main thing that was dropping CPI, it coming down. So from there, that gave us the jet fuel that we needed, and we saw that these two markets were in correlation. Then we saw the CPI report came out, and then, man, we just started taking off. From there, we saw the bullish Lux algo buy. Everybody got excited. Then we saw this news right here. Genesis, I'm just going to go into this very briefly. Genesis creditors file securities lawsuit against Barry Silver and DCG. Genesis is going bankrupt. Everybody saw that happen. We also saw that the bulls completely shrugged it off. The next day, we saw a major rally, and right now the bulls are ridiculously confident for all of these reasons. But those are just the chart-based reasons. So let's talk about the fundamental reasons, because there are other ones as well. Already touched on CPI. That's a big one. But let me just go ahead and clear my chart here. Some of the other factors that lead us into this major rally are as follows. In fact, we'll just go ahead and jump into this article right now because it's pertinent. German arms manufacturer said they can provide 139 Leopard tanks to Ukraine. This is a complete 180. Why? This is one of the geopolitical factors that is helping Bitcoin right now. You might wonder, why are tanks impacting the price of Bitcoin? They are. I'm going to tell you exactly why. I'm probably going to make a video on it because that sounds like a great title. Why German-made main battle tanks are causing Bitcoin to go into a rally. That's a title right there, and it's a true one. Olaf Scholz, German chancellor, has been saying for quite some time now that he started saying it at Davos last week, Switzerland, the economic forum that Russia was not a part of for once, said that Germany will not send Leopard 2 main battle tanks right now, and also one of his ministers, I think it was one of his ministers, came out and said that Germany will not send Leopard 2 main battle tanks. That's their own designed and built main battle tanks. The company Rheinmetall, of the famous Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger, builds as a World War II tank. That's the same Rheinmetall. They came out and said today that they're going to be able to provide 139 Leopard tanks to Ukraine. So there's a complete 180. Why? Well, Poland, who's on the doorstep of Russia, they border Belarus. Belarus is basically they're basically the Soviet Union. Like, that's pretty much how they run. They have a legally in-office dictator. Oh, gosh, what's his name? Oh, I'm blanking on his name. I know the guy's name. Anyway, the guy in Belarus is a dictator. Obviously, everybody knows that. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt. This dude's a war criminal. Poland is on the border with Belarus, and they also share a border with Ukraine. Poland knows, because they're the ones that got invaded and split up in the Second World War between Germany and Russia, that if Russia tries to march on Ukraine, marches through Ukraine and win the war, and try to march on Berlin to recapture their former territory, to secure their bloc, they're going to have to go through Poland. So Poland wants Ukraine to win the war because Poland doesn't want to be thrust into a war on their own. So they own about 250 Leopard 2 main battle tanks. They told Ukraine, look, we have the most sophisticated piece of armor on the entire planet after the M1A2 Abrams. It was given to us by Germany. Even if they don't like it, we're going to send you some because we want you to win, and we're willing to take the diplomatic hit with our neighbor, the most powerful economy, used to be the most powerful economy in the Eurozone, to make sure that you win the war. That's a big statement. You don't see states doing that very often, saying, hey, I know we're allies. I know we're both in NATO. I'm willing to burn our relationship and go completely against your will and re-export these Leopard 2s, even without your permission. That shows you how important it is to the Polish military and to the Polish people that Ukraine holds, because they know that Russia will knock on their door if they run over Ukraine and take Kyiv. They know it because Ukraine will become a puppet state. Then you have Belarus already in Putin's back pocket. Those are three states trying to rebuild the Soviet Union. Then they cross the border of Poland and, Lithuania? Don't quote me on that. I need to check my maps again. And they try and reunite with the Kaliningrad exclave, and then they start rebuilding the Soviet Union. That's what Putin wants to do. He wants to go down in history as the guy that rebuilt the Soviet Union. That's a fact. We know that. That is very, very clear. So Poland wants that. So Poland and the rest of the world has been putting pressure on Germany to send Leopard 2 main battle tanks and to allow re-export of the 2,000-some Leopard 2 main battle tanks that are scattered around Europe to Ukraine. Germany's been scoffing at that. Germany's like, wow, I'm the unpopular person on the planet now because everybody hates me as much as they hate Russia because we're not helping Ukraine. So this is a complete 180, and it goes to show you that Putin's idea that the West would back down and they would kowtow and allow him to take Ukraine is wrong, and thank God. I am not always the biggest fan of our government. I am not always the biggest fan of the way they are doing things. I am absolutely, and you can quote me on this, in favor of us supporting Ukraine, because you see World War III if they run over Ukraine. So Germany realizes that they need to get with the times and allow the re-export of the Leopard 2 tanks. So this is where this headline comes in, and that's the background for it. German arms manufacturers said they can provide 139 Leopard 2 tanks. I think they're talking about Leopard 2s. I'm not totally sure. It might be the Leopard 1 variant, but they're talking about Leopard tanks, and both of them are very advanced, to Ukraine. This is, again, the arms manufacturer Rheinmetall. That is the same company that was producing tanks for World War II era Germany, but of course they are reformed as much as you would like to say. They say this. A spokesperson for Rheinmetall said the company could deliver 29 of the Leopard 2 A4 tanks, that is the most recent version, A4 being the most recent version, as soon as April or May, in time for the spring offensive. That's a big deal. A further 22 tanks of the same make could also be transported to Ukraine by the end of 2023 or early 2024. Not to mention that they could be getting hundreds of these things from the rest of the Eurozone allies in NATO that have a lot of them. However, the spokesperson said the company had 88 older Leopard 1 tanks, which could also be given to Ukraine, but did not specify a potential time frame for delivery. Again, both of these tanks are extremely advanced. These tanks are older, but they're main battle tanks, and Ukraine needs them. Leopard 2 tanks are considered one of the best performing tank models worldwide and are renowned for their firepower, mobility, and sturdy armor. As I said, they are second only to the M1A2 Abrams main battle tank that the United States deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, all of these different places that we've been and has been seasoned. So, again, the headline that I was talking about making a video on, and I might make it. You tell me if you'd be interested in this in a bite-sized video package. Germany sending main battle tanks to Ukraine is causing Bitcoin to rally. What? Seriously. The reason is investors in the global stock markets look at what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and they say it is bullish if Ukraine wins and it is bearish if Russia wins. Why? Russia wants to destroy the world order and try and conquer half of Europe. That's not going to be good for business. Now, obviously, there's much more important things than business, like loss of human life and justice, but people that are putting their money, they got to look at the finances too. That would be terrible for business. Ukraine getting back their sovereign territory, that establishes a precedent for the rest of the century that if you try and conquer European soil on an obvious conquest mission, Europe is going to stand up. The United States, who's providing most of the assistance, is going to stand up and say, no, absolutely not. We are not going to allow you to do that, and we are going to ensure that the territorial sovereignty of Ukraine is maintained, and hopefully they get back Crimea, Donbass, and the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. That's very good for business. That's bullish. People see that as stability. A global stock market thrives in stability. You have no stability when there's the threat of World War III and a nuclear Armageddon if Russia runs over Ukraine. Hopefully I've made that abundantly clear, because that is the order of things right now. The order of things right now is that two things happen. Well, three things happen. Number one, something happens to Putin and he's deposed. That's not going to happen. He's already gotten rid of everybody who has the brass to depose him. So he's not going to get deposed, or he dies. And then somebody more moderate steps in and then backs down a little bit. That's unlikely. Because all of Russia realizes that for their ends, they kind of need Ukraine. So they realize what Putin's doing is maybe evil, but he's trying to defend their state by conquering another one. The second option, Ukraine wins, humiliates Russia, and then Russia turns into a dog that's backed into a corner, and we don't know what they're going to do. But hopefully, they'll just kind of sit there and spend the next 20 years rebuilding things. In that time, demographic collapse will just destroy their economy, and they'll be a nuclear state, but they could collapse in on themselves. That's a whole other story. The third option, this is the scary one, is that they run over Ukraine, they knock on Poland's door, they try to conquer Moldova, Romania, Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, and rebuild the Soviet Union. Those are all former Soviet bloc nations, and then knock on the door of Germany. That's World War III, because to get any of those nations, you have to go through NATO. I don't believe Moldova's in NATO, but every other nation in that circle is in NATO. Article 5 would trigger World War III. Business people do not want Russia to win this. They don't. They want to get cheap goods from Russia, but they don't want Russia to win this. So that's the other factor that's causing Bitcoin to rally, is that Russia having to go up against modern armor in the form of Leopard 2 A4 main battle tanks means that Ukraine has a much better opportunity not only to defend themselves, but also to recapture the territory that was stolen from them illegally. And that's very good for business. So if somebody asks you the question, how do Leopard 2 main battle tanks have anything to do with Bitcoin? You can direct them to this video, because they have everything to do with crypto. Because if you're going to invest in a risk-on asset, you want to be sure of two things. Number one, you want to be sure the stock market is doing well. Because why would you invest in a risky asset if you could just invest in the stock market that's going to go up 15% this year if you got $100 million? And number two, to invest in a risk-on asset, you want to ensure there's stability in the world. Bitcoin is viewed by the vast majority of the money in this world as a risk-on asset. Right now, the world's starting to seem a little bit less risky if Ukraine gets all of this armor, since they've been able to hold out for 10 months against what was allegedly the second most powerful army in the world. Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm going to read some chat, and then we will continue moving on here. By the way, I'll bring that up here in a minute. All right, so I already went through the two articles that I want. I kind of tied them in a different way than I had planned on. Like I said, Genesis creditors are filing a securities lawsuit against Barry Silbert and DCG. German arms manufacturer sending 139 tanks to Ukraine as early as the end of 2023, early 2024. Yep. Dude, this war started just because Ukraine wanted to join NATO. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and you got to look at it from the Russians' point of view. No matter how evil somebody is, you got to put yourself in their shoes to understand where they're coming from, so that you understand, in this case, how to fight against them. Russia wants Ukraine, Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Romania, Moldova, so that they can push their borders back to the Alps. The Alps right there in the center of Europe. So they have a much shorter border to contain, because you can't drive tanks over mountains. You need to drive them through a plain. And Poland is the plain. It's called the Blood Plains, where every single major war in the history of Europe has been fought on. They want to expand to those borders so that they can defend them with their shrinking population, because they're going to have less people to put on the battlefield in the future, and they're not going to have the economy to give them massive amounts of armor either. All right. Lithuania borders Belarus and Poland. Thank you. I thought it was Lithuania, but I wanted to make sure. All right. Let's see. Lukashenko, thank you. That's the guy in charge of Belarus, Lukashenko. Corey's here in chat, said, glad to be back as a youngling. Had to close a lot of subscription. Missed this one most. Oh, thank you, Corey. Appreciate that. That means a lot to me that you'd say that. All right. Let's see. Read a couple more chats, then we're going to keep going here for just a little bit. We're going to have to wrap it out soon. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland are already in NATO. I know they're in NATO. That's the problem. If Russia declares a war on any of them, he brings the United States involved, and then you have World War III. Then you have a shooting war on the battlefield of Poland. The NATO alliance completely stomps Russia. It's not even going to be close. I mean, it will be a complete slaughter on the battlefield. It'll be Ukraine alone is giving Russia a run for their money, and they don't even have modern main battle tanks. Europe has like 4,000 of them on the soil within miles of the border where the conflict would be taking place. Russia would get absolutely slaughtered, and NATO would push them back to at least their borders, if not Moscow. Then their last option is nuclear weapons for the defense and continuation of their state. You don't want to be in that position globally. That's a really bad place to be. All right. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and how the discovery of aliens affect crypto. I don't know. That'd be an interesting one. Love to make that video. Tell me if you'd like a series on how random world events have an impact on crypto, because I can tie the strings together if you'd like me to. Anyway, a couple things I want to wrap out with. Because I did tell you earlier that I'm going to compare Bitcoin right now to April 1st of 2019. I want to make sure I'm holding to my word on that. So let's go ahead and compare why I believe we're in a similar boat to then. April 1st, 2019, Bitcoin went through a major rally, as you can see here. It says April 2nd. What the heck? This is on a different chart. Normally on April 1st. Huh, that chart says on April 2nd. Am I just remembering my history wrong? Am I off a day? I'm off a day. How about that? That's weird. I've always known it to be the April 1st rally, April Fool's rally. That's odd. If anybody knows why that's on April 2nd now, I always remember. Is that like the Nelson Mandela syndrome or whatever? I've always known that was on April 1st and now it moved to April 2nd. I don't know. Somebody's trying to play tricks on me at TradingView. Anyway, Bitcoin went through a major rally there on the 23%, up $1,000. Then it plateaued. Then it rallied again, plateaued and rallied again. I really believe that what we're seeing right now is very similar to this point in time in the history of crypto. And I'll tell you why. Bitcoin has just shattered a baseline at $18,500, set fresh lows, is over a year from the all-time high. Then it rallied exponentially and very quickly through the baseline that it had shattered, and now it's setting an aggressive movement to the upside. Let's analyze this market. Bitcoin back here had shattered a baseline, this time at $6,000. It was over a year from the all-time high. It had fallen well below, about 50% below in this point, traded sideways for a good amount of time, then completely shattered the baseline and started rallying to the upside in a big way. We right now are witnessing the equivalent, potentially, of the April the 2nd rally. Somebody changed something on me. They're just trying to get at me. Everybody's coming for me right now. We had the microphone messing up. We had the camera messing up. Now we're having this messing up. Anyway, crazy stream, isn't it? Shows you the humanity behind it. There's a lot going on other than just the stream. Anyway, we saw Bitcoin go through this major rally here, and everything seems to line up to me to look exactly like what we're going through right now. I believe that we're seeing something very similar, even in the size. Bitcoin has rallied, as you can see, 44%. This beginning rally rallied about 44%. It did it in about one move. We're doing it in about two right now. But this could very well be the potential. This very well could potentially be the beginning of something huge. We're going to have to pay close attention to it. Right now, I want to see $20,000 hold, and I also want to see us break $1 trillion on TradingView's chart because that's where everybody's looking, and I want to see us break it with confidence. I would also love to see total market capitalization get back up above this trend line, which we were hoping would hold. I'll show you on the weekly chart that this is a trend line that has held since August 10th of 2015. If we could get above that line, which would require us to go up to about $1.25 trillion, that would be incredible. And that would be where I would start to say, hey, look, we're at $30,000. I'm getting close to calling the beginning of a bull market. However, don't want to be too bullish. None of this is yet to be confirmed. I'm not even yet certain to call this a confirmed major uptrend, let alone a bull market. Once Bitcoin knocks on $25,300 door and breaks that, that's where I'm starting to say, okay, this is serious. Till then, we're going to wait and see and be patient. All right. Well, I hope you did enjoy today's stream. I really enjoyed this stream. No main tanks, just strikes and Bradleys. Yeah, they have sent those for sure, but I do think you're going to see tanks relatively soon. We may not see M1A2 Abrams tanks go over there unless you absolutely need them, because the United States definitely does not want that technology falling into Russia's hands. However, Russia doesn't know how to build M1A2 Abrams, and they don't have the military-industrial complex to build them themselves. So maybe the West will be more interested in doing it. The United States is just kind of staying silent because they don't want people saying, "Oh, send your tanks." They want them to send the Leopards, because they can hold back the tech that's in the most recent edition of the M1A2 Abrams. All right. They already have war with Georgia. They already have war with Chechnya. There is a future where Russia could completely disintegrate into about 40 different nation states, where all the states pull apart from each other and you see it completely shatter like a pane of glass. So that's a possibility. We'll see. Man, I've been watching Jebb from 2018. Feel like he's grown up a lot. Hi, Philson. You have been watching me for that long. Thank you so much, man. Good to see you. Yeah, it's definitely been a very interesting 5 years. Very blessed 5 years for sure. Always enjoy your stream, Jebb. Thanks for the time. And a political endorsement. I'm going to leave that one to yourself. But any country threatening the American people should be made an example. Threaten the government, not the people. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you're launching drone and missile strikes on civilians. It's horrible. It's absolutely disgusting. Anyway. And by the way, I'm not saying Ukraine's perfect, because there's definitely history and corruption and whatnot in their government. Nobody's perfect except for the King Jesus. We do appreciate all of you guys tuning in. I am going to go ahead and wrap out the stream. Thank you guys so much for your thoughts and prayers. Please keep us in your prayers. And I will see you guys in the next one. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.